Hello, my name is Annabelle Wojan,
And my name is Wyatt Clark.
and you're listening to 90.5 FM WSUP Platteville. We are currently in Appleton before the Mile of Music New Year's Eve Encore Eve at the Hilton Faber Valley. Joining us today for an interview is the Astronomers, Ben and Michael, originally from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Hello.
Welcome. To start us off, we'd love to hear more about your background. So you guys grew up in Fond du Lac together, but went separate ways for college, and Ben even went to Platteville. What did you study there?
Construction management.
Yeah. Nice. How did that go?
I was good after a year. I was really itching to come back to Oshkosh and set up a studio with him and just do music every single day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something we kind of leave out when we tell this story.
Yeah.
I think you were just like wanting so much to be back in the music scene, and like you talk about how there wasn't like a lot of people that were like doing the same kind of thing as him, but I think Ben just really, we both wanted to be in the same room. We tried FaceTiming while we were in different schools to make music, and it just, it doesn't work.
Just legs. Yeah.
And like,
That's tricky.
so I think, Ben just really wanting to come back and the urge, and we finally luckily there was a room open in the dorm I was in, and so
And then 6 weeks before or something, I just made the leap. I'm like, I had all my classes at Platteville for the second year, ready. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to Oshkosh and just take the leap of faith and just figure this out.
Nice.
At what point did you guys feel that it was possible to do music as a career or as what you wanted to do?
Honestly, that happened while I was at Platteville, before we even formed the Astronomers. It was fall of 2018, and I had this demo that I sent to a songwriter in LA, and he was like, back in those days, I was sending out like hundreds of emails, just trying to network with as many people as I could. And he responded to it, and he's like, "This is awesome. Can you send over the stems, which is like the audio files for the song?" It's like, I want to record on it. And this songwriter has like written songs for like Alicia Keys and Lady Gaga and stuff. So I'm like, wow, I can't even believe it. And then about a week later, he sent back, fully recorded like his vocals on it. And long story short, he never released a song, but I'm like, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Where I'm like, okay, this is something like, there's something here. If someone who like writes songs for Lady Gaga wanted to record on my song, this is maybe something like I can.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, and then after that we just kept working, and that's when I kind of got sick of like working on music by myself, and I was looking to take it more seriously. And I'm like, you know what? I'm friends with Michael from Fondy, and I know he can sing and perform. Let me call him up and see if he wants to make this a duo. And yeah.
Because we were in a band together in high school, so before he went to Platteville, and we played together all the time. And so when he asked me to join a part of it, it was like our freshman year of college, and I'm just, you go to your first year of school and you're like, I think I know what I want to do, but also like if something happens, I'll probably want to do that too. So when he asked me to be in it, I was full-fledged, ready to go, and we worked on it every single day. And I think the constant ladder that we're climbing is when I realized that this is what we're gonna do, because the growth that we see from year to year is really kind of saying
I
something.
specifically remember I was in Roundtree, I think, when I called you. I was at like one of those like study pods at the end of the hallway on whatever floor was open. I was like walk the stairwell to see like a lot of people are like studying or something. I would just go there to like work on music, and I called you, and I'm like, if we're gonna do this, I'm like, this is something we're not gonna do for like just 2 weeks and forget about. Like, I do this every single day. And then you're like, bro, trust me, I will do this every single day. All right. And
then the relationship started.
Yeah.
So once you guys were both reunited at UW Oshkosh, how did your musical journey come together there? Like, how did it grow? How did you guys work together?
It was so exciting because so the place we were living in was a 2-bedroom, so 2 people in each room place. So it was kind of like one of the nicer dorms on campus. Yep. And so we had our own room, and so 2 beds on each side. We decided to bunk the beds, which no one's no one did that. We just did it because we wanted a whole side to set up the studio. So
Nice.
we spent like the first week when everyone was going to like the welcome back activities, just sitting in our room, just making our studio and hanging lights up and getting all the instruments out. And I remember Ben hung up all the LEDs around the room, and then in the middle of the night they just come crashing down, and Ben's just like, oh. They just hear them.
Is that the room in the Studio Sundays series?
No,
Okay.
that's before the Studio Sunday
Okay,
series.
okay.
The room in the Studio Sunday series is our last studio that we were in our first house that we
It was
were
our
in.
college house.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only are you guys from the central Wisconsin area, neighboring the Fox Cities, but the Midwest as well. So outside of naming your previous tour of Midwest Kids, would you say that the Midwest is a strong part of your identity musically?
For sure.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, 100% because
Yeah.
we always thought when we started that we were going to want to be in LA as soon as we could, because there's just so many connections out there. And I think the more we grew into it and the more stuff became second nature to us, and it wasn't the wow factor as much when we were doing stuff, we realized that being here in the heart of Wisconsin, like we can't say there's a lot of people, and there's some great local acts, but there's not a lot of people that are making radio #1 songs that are in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And so we kind of look at it as like big fish, small pond,
Yeah.
where nothing to kind of shade anything about being in Wisconsin, but more so to
It
praise
helps
it.
us-
We
helps us
love
stand
being
up.
here
It's
because we grow this huge local audience that comes to shows like here in Appleton, and then people tell their friends and then
Yeah.
their relatives, and then we grow and grow and grow, and it's so organic. So we feel like because we didn't make that TikTok leap or we didn't make that LA leap, our fan base is super loyal to us in that way. So
Yeah, I first come aware of you guys. My aunt's sister's like, oh,
Really?
there's these kids making these songs and stuff, and I checked it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then it just keeps growing, and
that happened, and that's
Yeah.
what happens. Yeah. So.
Has your location had any influence on who you work with? Like, do you continue those LA connections,
Oh,
or you
yeah.
work locally still?
No, honestly, like, I don't think the location really factors in with who we work with. Like, we still meet a ton of people that are based in LA. This year we collaborated with Sammy Rash, who's based in LA. He's actually flown out a few times for some shows with us. And our friend Drew DeCaro out there, who's actually just so happened to be coming to Oshkosh for a different project. We've been able to see him a lot and just kind of like absorb his infinite wisdom in his industry, because he's just got such experience.
This guy's like Drew DeCaro has such a catalog to him. I mean, he was the lead guitarist for Miguel's tour with like Snoop Dogg, Beyonce, like. So this guy's been around the top of the top. He was a guitarist on that show Songland that was playing for a long time, and then he writes music for everyone and makes songs for everyone, Grammy nominations, everything. And this guy so happens, he produced that Numb Little Bug song by M. Bayhold that's like a bop on the radio. And long story short, he happens to be here like twice a year in Oshkosh, and we're able to connect with him and go hang out. Had him over for a cookout one day
That's so cool.
Yeah.
with a broad.
Oh my gosh.
So we got him into that.
Yeah. But honestly, like location, we still
do local collaborations. Like we'll have a lot of more in studio people, like songwriters and stuff. But I think we're now at a time where we're playing so many shows too that when we're in the studio, it's very slim. So we know we want to get stuff done. We don't really book like a lot of time in the studio, so we don't really have a lot of people coming in. But for the most part, it hasn't impacted who we worked with, because like I said, obviously we weren't able to really like working together for FaceTime, but it's different when you're like, it's someone that's not every single day you need to be with. But
you can still get it done. Yeah.
yeah, send files, get
Exactly.
files too. Yeah, it's a little easier now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, I've got like a personal question, but I'm super curious. In the song Guess That's Just Life, where is the clip that's like, okay, wake up Oshkosh? Where is that from?
Oh my god.
No one has ever asked us that. we just talked about that. Like,
These questions are so good, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was the best interview we've done in a while.
Yeah.
Awesome.
At our last house that we lived in, it was me, Ben, and then two of our friends from high school. One Jordan, and her name was Megan. And Megan, she's actually coming to the show tonight. It's really funny.
Nice.
But she always would like yell at us like, "Let me be in a song." So we're like, we had that "Wake Up Oshkosh" thing in this song, and we asked her if she could record it. And so she just recorded it, and we added some like effect on it.
She said it like in a normal voice, and I pitched it up and made it sound like a kid.
Yeah.
And put some reverb on it, and
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's funny.
So you guys are headed out east for your tour coming up here in early 2023. What show are you most excited for?
Ooh, I would say, besides the cruise ship shows that we have, like the Rock Boat, I'm gonna say Minneapolis is the one I'm super excited for. It's 7th Street.
Yeah, well, yeah, 7th Street entry on First Ave is like an iconic place in Minneapolis, so we're super excited for that one. But to dip our toes into Pennsylvania will be fun. You know, we've never played a show in Pittsburgh before, so just kind of, I think it's hard to say that we're looking forward to one over the other because we've never been on like a full headline tour before. So, you know, playing all these shows in Ohio, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, it's really going to be just an experience.
Yeah.
And so I think we're excited equally for everything.
Yeah.
Sweet. How are you guys preparing for it since this is like a step up from what you've done before?
Well,
Oh,
we
it's
got a
fun.
van.
Yeah, it's been a lot of prep. Just, you know, making sure we have the right stuff, taking a trailer into the shop, getting that checked out, just everything. I mean, everyone's been working really hard, just making sure we're ready.
So our team is very powerful, but yet still small. Like we have a overseeing manager, and then we have a booking agent, and we have a day-to-day manager. That's like it in terms of like anything related to like making these shows happen. So I think one thing that we underestimated, I was thinking about this the other day, we just released our debut album, and I don't know if you guys are going to talk about it, I won't talk about that much, but we kind of forgot that we were also going on a headline tour in January. So I think by putting those so close together, most of our time went into getting this tour ready rather than like, oh, we have an album out, we should probably make like music videos, or we should probably do
promotions
this.
and
And
such.
we completely never had the time for it, and it really kind of bothered us, but also it's that you learn from that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like drop an album maybe like 6 months before you go on tour, like 4 months rather than like a month and a half.
Yeah,
because
build it up a little
now
more.
it's like, yeah, we didn't have time to film or do any of the stuff we usually do, and that kind of was different for us. But
Yeah.
so
Do you guys have any plans to go out west after this tour?
Yeah, we do. So nothing like in the books yet, but there's this music showcase called We Found New Music. The guy's name's Grant Owens, and like he's had like Billie Eilish at his showcase before, like she obviously became Billie Eilish. Like his kind of thing is like sniffing out like the people that are like on the rise and like having it in like this music showcase, and like all the industry people in LA, you know, go to these showcases and kind of just see like, you know, what's going on in the music scene. So we're invited to that. We just got to figure out like a time to get out there, probably like in spring, I'm thinking. And then obviously like all the producers and like, you know, artists and friends we have out in LA will be able to like get in the studio with, or just hang out and network with more people, and yeah. Other
yeah,
than show
we
stuff,
get a lot of people asking us to come west. I mean,
we have a lot of,
all the
of
time.
requests. It's tough because like
it's farther drive going west too.
like we have a lot of equipment, so either it's like the venue has to provide the back line, or we have to like drive and like have like a West Coast tour lined up to like make it worth our time.
Yeah,
for
for sure.
So it's definitely kind of like a logistical like issue right now with how small, but like not really. I don't know. We're like mid tier, you know, right now, artists. It's definitely that weird point where it's like we're trying to get bigger to make it worth our time to travel out there.
So looking forward to the future, what would your like dream tour location be and dream tour like partner be?
Like who we'd open for or something?
Yeah, or with.
I think Red Rocks is a really cool venue.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be really cool someday. And then to open, I mean, obviously AJR would be awesome. Quinn 92, even like, you know, Christian French or Surfaces. Like we love all that kind of like indie pop. Chelsea Cutler, just that indie pop. I don't know. Do you have any other?
Yeah, you're damn
I
right.
think you should. Yeah.
So then, with that, do you guys try to keep your ear kind of to the ground, listening to every new thing that's coming out, or do you guys mainly focus on like, we're gonna do our thing and we're gonna try to do that?
That's a really good question. I think as of late, I have found myself not listening to as much music anymore.
Yeah.
When we first started, we were avid music listeners.
Mhm.
Like, at the end of the year, my Spotify rap was high in terms of minutes listened, and now it's like on the low end. And I just don't. When I get into the car to drive somewhere now, I don't immediately go to Spotify. I go to our recent demos that we've made and see if they sound, you know, applicable and that they're good enough for what we want to do. And I think I just, you know, I love listening to Quinn 92 and AJR and whatever they drop, and it's always really exciting. But, you know, I found more enjoyment in just figuring out what we can do and not kind of having that backbone influence. That's just me as of late, though.
I still listen to like all music all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I've been like listening to like a lot of dubstep lately. Even though we don't make dubstep, I like. It's just interesting to me, like hearing it, and it takes a lot of talent to like make that. So I find inspiration in like all types of music.
It's always good to listen to things that maybe you're not necessarily dabbling in, just because there's little parts of it that you can always take.
Oh, and I do for sure. In our
Yeah.
songs, I hear something like in a dubstep song. Oh, let me try this. Like put it way in the back. Like just do like different things, just to make our productions kind of like hit a little bit different.
Yeah, and that's more so, I guess, what I should say. I guess I'm just not listening to my typical, like, favorite people as much right now, but more so, like, this guy's huge, but Noah Khan, like, just released that 6-season album, and that's been, like, one of my biggest listens, just the songwriting of it. I think for me, as the songwriter, has been really inspiring, and just kind of going back, because when we started, we used to do covers of, like, The Script, The Fray, Coldplay, like, all of these, like, you know, pop, rock, chill bands, and that's really our roots. So I think hearing that kind of music always brings me back to the fullness in listening to music. So.
With something like Milo Music being like a larger festival, how does that differ in preparation than either individual shows or going on tour?
Honestly, I wouldn't say there's really that much of a difference. We've done like a lot of shows this year, so it's like we kind of have. We're just kind of ready. Like I was telling Michael just this morning, like it used to be when we had a show, it's like, oh, we have a show in 2 weeks, like, you know, get ready. And now it's like we wake up like, oh, show today, show tomorrow. Like, yeah.
I think
we're
there's
excited.
a little bit of a
always
difference because we've been planning our tour for a long time, and this one came like not too long ago.
Yeah.
And so I think when we're playing in a familiar spot like Appleton, it's a 30-minute drive for us.
Yeah.
We know where we're going. We've played here before. Tour, we've played at two of the venues before that we're playing on tour. And so everything's gonna be pretty much new to us. And driving every day, staying at hotels, like this is a little bit different. And so I think
This is less stressful.
Yeah, it's definitely less stressful, but not in a bad way.
Okay.
For those like listeners who are less familiar with your duo, what skills do each of you bring to the music making process?
Yeah, so I'm the music producer, so I do all the mixing and like, you know, make the beats basically. Yeah. But honestly, lately, like just from over the years, Michael just watching me, I mean, he can make some demos now and show me, and then I can like put my touch on it and kind of make it bigger and clean it up and stuff.
That's how it is now.
That's like,
I mean,
yeah.
usually
Arrangements,
I'll start a
songwriting.
song and structure it, and I'll have like very like few things like a guitar, simple drums, and then maybe some piano, bass, whatever. But it never sounds like anything insanely good until then I'll record, and then Ben will step in and really
Work till
make
like
it
3
full.
a.m. and send the demo at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, because I usually we don't live at the same place now, and so I usually go home at like midnight latest if we're working in the studio session, and he'll stay up and work on it because we need that time by ourselves sometimes to work on stuff too, because then someone just looking over your shoulder and But I'm the songwriter primarily. So
I'll like
I'll
tweak
write all
his
the
words.
songs.
Oh, if you said this way, like, what if you wrote a topic about this? Like, oh, do this melody, but like, in like, mainly songwriter, mainly producer. For him, like when he makes demos, it'll be like maybe 15 tracks, and then I'll take it to 150 tracks. Really stack it up and make it big. Yeah.
So with this most recent album and then going forward, as a musician myself, I'm very interested when you make songs in the final cut, what % of the tracks are live tracked and what % are MIDI in production?
It's different for every song. This new one we're actually playing tonight that we've never played before has a lot of live tracks, a lot of live guitar,
Live guitar, live bass.
lots, live bass. But then some of them, like, I don't know.
We've never done live drums.
We've never done live drums. It's tough to get really clean, good.
It's also
drum
just
sounds.
not.
And it's just not efficient.
Not
No.
that
Like,
necessarily, but more it's just not our sound.
It's not. It's
to do
just.
live drums. But
I usually have like a very particular when it comes to drums. So
Yeah.
I have the sound in my head. I subscribe to Splice. I can flip through the samples and then just build out the drums like within like an hour or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of a hard question to answer. I'd say it's different for every song. We use a lot of stuff from Splice, which is like a sound library with like, they have like live recorded guitars, but it's not like us playing them all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's a good mix. It's a good mix between digital and real. That's what makes songs, I think, really cool nowadays.
So this has been a pretty big year for you guys. As you mentioned, you're on the rise, and you've released your album, The Occasion, and launched a tour. So what song are you most proud of from your new album?
probably for me, The Occasion, which was like the title track of the album. That song was, I talk about it on stage all the time, but like that was a song where it was like when I was done writing it, it felt like almost therapeutical in a way. And like for me, I don't usually say that about stuff I write. I write because it's fun, and I write because it's my way of having a hobby. And I guess you could say that's a form of therapy or whatever, but you know, it really, the message and where we were both at in our life and the changes that were going on, I think that song was really the game changer for our sound in this album. So
for me, out of like the new songs on the album, like the non-singles, I would say Ruin My Day. Just because like the vocal production on it and just other nerdy stuff. But off like the album as a whole, including the singles, I'd probably say Bad Type, just because I just love how it hits. Like, it's probably like my favorite mix.
So all the production side of things.
Yeah. I just like the way it really hits. And then like Hotel Rooms grew on me. Funny story about Hotel Rooms. We made it like in August, or we started the demo in August of 21, and we were like, I think we were working on a different song, and then you found something that inspired you, and you're like, let's just try it. I'm like, oh, it's not like, it just doesn't seem like our sound. Anyways, we were sitting on Hotel Rooms for like a few months, and like he loved it, our manager loved it. I did not want to put it in. I did not think it was a good song. I just didn't like, oh, the mix is bad. Like I don't really like it. But then last December, I just took 12 hours, like the whole day by myself. Like I had the house to myself, and like really sat down and like
In
mixed
Arizona.
it. Well, I finished in Arizona. It was
yeah.
Cherry Street. I like did the initial mix, and then I did some other stuff with my AirPods in Arizona. But once I got the mix right, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool now. And then it turns out Hotel Rooms, everyone loved it, and it was our biggest like radio song, and it got what's called power rotation, which is like they play it like every 90 minutes.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
That's
I didn't even like send it to 101 because I didn't think it was radio friendly. Our manager did, and I was just clearly so wrong.
I just remember him responding, "Wow."
Wow, he's like, this is your most radio friendly song yet. I'm like, really? I'm like, I didn't even send it to you because I didn't think it was radio friendly. So don't trust my judgment on radio songs now. Yeah.
I got a question for the fans. will Studio Sundays be making a return?
I think they probably will. Yeah, I'm sure, right? I mean, Jack's got. I mean, we have a lot of like
Backlog footage.
a lot of backlog. I mean, I think he just did one for the new one we're gonna play tonight. Like he filmed that whole session, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So-
we film him a lot.
Yeah.
Jack kind of does a lot for us right now. So Jack is the original creator of that series. He's the one who made and edited all of those. And that was back when that's all he did for us.
Mhm.
All he did was video and photography. But now he manages our everyday life,
Yeah.
basically.
Merch.
Talks to all the venues, emails everyone. And so editing videos, still one of his favorite things to do, isn't always at the forefront of his stuff. So yeah, it'll probably happen again. And we did try to start it up in the beginning of 2021 again.
Yep.
And we had like 3 episodes recorded. But I'm sure we'll do it again. When it will, that'll be
Yeah.
yet to tell. But
Yeah.
I had just heard in another interview you guys had talked about how important you think alternative content being put out is, and I thought that's a really good approach to doing it.
It's cool that you asked about it 'cause I love watching like artists like in the studio, like
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure.
And it's cool that other people like care about that too.
what interview was that? We were like talking about like playing video. I think we were talking about like doing a video game stream once, and like because we used to make like games.
Twitch.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it'd be funny if just like us two were like did a random like 30-minute playthrough of like what can we build in Minecraft.
Oh my God.
No, I thought we were gonna do like a music feedback stream on Twitch because that would actually like do
Oh,
it too.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So a question for our listeners in Flatville, Wisconsin. Why should somebody listening in P Vegas come to the Astronomers show?
Is that what they call it? P Vegas?
Yeah.
Really?
You've heard that, right?
I've heard that.
Okay.
P
Yeah.
Vegas?
P Vegas,
Yeah.
baby.
I think they should come because I used to go to Platteville, and if they see me at a show, they can talk about Platteville things. I get it.
Can I ask what grade you guys are in?
I'm a senior this year.
Okay.
I'm a freshman.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Wow. Yeah. So I had a friend that went to Platt. I had one friend, Julia Westenberg,
Oh yeah.
went there. We were in marching band together. But I don't know if you
Doesn't sound familiar,
That's fine.
unfortunately.
I'm not a marching, sorry.
No, that's fine.
And another thing about Platteville, a big reason. So I was into construction management, and like before I went there, my dad, like before I went to college, my dad's like, "Are you sure you want to go to school for construction management?" He's like, "I still think you're gonna like it." Like, yeah, it's really sick. Like,
It's real.
it's like, oh, okay, like, never.
We got over that narrative.
Yeah. And then another big draw for me for Platteville was Roundtree because I did not want to do like the traditional dorms at all. Like I just can't. Like I just need my space. So my Roundtree. Oh, sweets. You do it as a freshman. Let's go. So shout out 242 Roundtree. It's right in the corner, totally isolated from every other room.
I think Platteville people should come to a show.
Yeah.
You know, isn't it close to like Madison? We have a show in Madison on tour. Come to that show, see what we're about. I guarantee someone's gonna like it.
So,
So, with where you guys are now, what is the next milestone? And is there a kind of pinnacle thing that you're looking for?
I'd say there's no pinnacle. It's always just been like, how far can we take it? Like, what's the next thing? But yeah, I'd say the next milestone is, I don't know, hopefully just keep getting songs on the radio and keep growing our fan base.
I think having like, doesn't have to be like a hit song, but like a song that people listen to and they're like, oh yeah, that's the Astronomers. Like anywhere in the like country.
Like, just like a hit song, like.
Where it's like, we came to a festival, people would come because they know us from either a song or an album. Like, like we want to be able to do enough to sell out shows, to make this a feasible thing that's real and that we can continue to do, and work with bigger people and consistently grow our name. So
that's awesome.
Like when you say like hit song, like Overthinking and Hotel Rooms, Bad Time, I'd say like those are kind of like local hits, but not like a national level. So like just to have like one song at least, it's like, oh, that one song, Life is Strong.
You know, I think we kind of underestimate ourselves a little bit, but I think overthinking has a lot of national pull.
Yeah.
Because I mean, 4 million streams
Yeah.
on Spotify is like, I think it's easy to like kind of step over that and not think it's a lot.
It's
but
easy
it
to
is.
compare to other artists.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we want 40 million, or we want 400 million.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super easy to compare.
Well, congratulations on all your success.
Yeah,
It's so
thank you.
awesome. So we're bringing in the new year a bit early tonight, but
Yeah.
we want to wrap up our interview by asking what have been your top moments, musically or otherwise, from 2022?
Ooh, so I just actually posted my Instagram post today about like 2022. I moved into an apartment with my girlfriend, which was it's not music related stuff. We got a cat, so those are 2 huge like lifestyle things.
Mhm.
But on the side of like music wise, we sold out 3. With the amount of people, we had packed houses for each night at Mile Music back in August. That was a highlight of the year. We went on our first mini tour in Wisconsin and Chicago in March. We had another #1 song on the radio in hotel rooms, and I think we doubled like our overall just like well-being in terms of being artists, in whether that being revenue and people that come to the shows, and just the ladder growth I think is what we like.
Yeah, like 2022 was definitely our biggest growth year yet. In January of 2022 we had 31,000 listeners on Spotify, and then fast forward to like mid-October we hit 500,000 listeners, monthly listeners on Spotify. So that was really cool for me to see that, because like I actually made in 2021 on my birthday in like September, Jack found a video of like us like making like 1-year predictions, and like I'm like in the video like, if we don't have 50,000 listeners by a year from now, like something went wrong. Like, I'm gonna predict 68,000 listeners or something like that, and then Michael said something like 113,000 listeners, and we started laughing even more. And then like I think Jack said something just like sounded so ridiculous at the time, 432,000 listeners, and we just all started like laughing like as if it wasn't possible.
Yeah.
And then like a year later we went past that and crushed it.
Over 500,000 at one point.
But yeah, I'd say like Big Fleshman's this year at Mile Music was like really eye-opening. So Michael's girlfriend, she was looking for like the food trucks before the show, and she saw a line. She's like, "Is this the line for the food trucks?" And they're like, "No, we're trying to get into the Astronomers show." And it was like 100-foot line of people, like blocks, two blocks
Oh my
down,
gosh.
people trying to get in. It was like body to body packed in this McFleshman's bar, probably like 600 plus people, and then like another like 100 people trying to get in.
Oh
So like
my god.
that was just bizarre to hear. Like after the show, like after we played it, she was
It
telling us
was
that
like 92 degrees that night too, and there was a huge storm coming
we
in.
just made it.
And we didn't think we were gonna get this show in, and the way it did was just a blessing.
Yeah.
You did graduate college. I know you don't
Oh,
care.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I did graduate. I did graduate. I got a business degree, so not construction management, but yeah, that felt good to get that out of the way. I guess that is a milestone. I totally forget. Yeah, not really my thing, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got it. Stuck with it. Thank you.
I have a semester left, so almost there.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
That's so funny. What are you studying?
Radio, TV, film. So it's very funny that it comes up a lot in our interviews and podcasts that I do the same kind of thing at school. So
Have you done anything with the radio station at UWO?
yeah, I've done a couple like air checks for them and like did their top 40 hour, like 2-hour segments, and co-host a lot of stuff. I do a lot of like the broadcasting for like play-by-play. If they ever need like a color commentary, I know the guy who runs who's like the senior head of the like doing broadcasting. He always asks me if he wants someone for like a big game, and so like March Madness stuff for Oshkosh, we usually. I think Platteville's always pretty decent, right, at basketball too.
Yeah, we've been good the last couple of years.
Yeah, same with UWO, and so that's fun.
Cool. That's super neat. Well, thank you guys so much for your
Yeah,
time.
Thank you very much for your time.
Seriously, this was probably like the best interview we've done
Yeah,
in a
we had
long
a ton of
time.
really good questions.
Thank
A lot of
you.
times, like,
Well, it's always the same questions like, how did you start? What's your favorite song? What's your favorite place you ever played? And it's like you just took them to the next level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good. I'm glad we could do that for you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is a blast.
So I'm gonna wrap up really quick. This has been 90.5 FM WSUP, and we're here again with the Astronomers. Thank you again for joining us today, and Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Thanks for having us.